Hello, viewers. You're welcome to another edition of Diaspora TV Network with Dele Aberamba. I have someone as my guest tonight, all the way from Canada, Toronto, especially. His name is Mr. Fola Kolade. I'm sure it's not a strange name to you. Fola Kolade is popularly known as Folly Asiko, with a style of music Asiko Afrobeat Essemble. Diaspora TV Network is essentially to celebrate our own Nigerians wherever they are all over the world, to appreciate their contributions to the various economies in the world, to be able to recognize the impacts of our own wherever they are in any part of the world. One of the major reasons why I had to fish out Foley for this particular edition. Foley is going to be taking us through his journey all the way from Nigeria down to the New York and eventually to Toronto in Canada. Mr. Fola Kolade, you're welcome to this program, sir.
Thank you. Just as a quick correction, it's actually Folly Kolade.
Foley Kolade. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm
How are you,
glad to.
sir? So, how has it been?
Life has been good. Life has been up and down. You know,
Yeah,
it's not worthy to complain, but we do what we can in life, and
yeah.
the Almighty take charge.
Essentially, I'm aware that you are originally from Kogi State and that you grew up in Osogbo and Ilorin. I have a particular question that I want to start off with a short. I
Okay.
see some of your shows on stage, and I see that you have this peculiar way of dressing whenever you're on stage. Was it because you grew up in that part of Nigeria? Was it the reason why you had to come up with that style of fashion?
Well, no, not necessarily. It actually was born out of religion. It was actually born out of me trying to merge um, our way of life. Because if
Okay,
I'm a Christian,
okay,
and and so I'm taking my uh, I go to Celestial Church of Christ, right?
okay,
So I borrowed from the the Sultana idea to represent Christianity, and
okay.
then the mufler idea to
Yeah,
represent, even though that's not Islam necessarily, but it's a culture of people who are predominantly a lot of them are Muslims, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
I merged these two together to create that idea.
I had to ask you that out of curiosity anyway. Now, to kick off with a short with you, your Afrobeat Assemble musical journey, how did you all get started?
Uh, it actually started, I would say it's step by step.
Okay,
I started back when I was in Osogbo, actually. I
okay,
used to play with a friend of mine, really good friend of mine. He's of late now. But, I started playing with him. That was actually my first professional experience
okay.
with, apart from playing in church and all that. But that was my first professional experience in terms of getting paid and performing in live shows and all that. But the Afrobeat, it's the genre itself started when I was in New York.
Okay.
And I
It
used to
didn't
play.
start, it wasn't way back in Nigeria.
No, no, no. We were playing in Nigeria, we were playing more of highlife, those
Oh,
tombola, call them tombola music.
yeah. Anyway, I'm still gonna get to that. But in the meantime, there was this story about your journey of immigration through New York to Toronto in Canada. What was it all about?
Well, so I was in New York for a while,
Yeah.
and then We decided to go back to Nigeria for a little bit and then came back. When we chose to migrate back, we chose to come to Canada. But while in New York, the band has been progressing and we're moving forward with, the band has been there. And I still have a couple of guys back there that if I need to go to New York,
Yeah.
they're always there. So yeah, that.
Why the choice of going back to Nigeria from New York in the first place?
Well, so at one point, it's almost as if I was just going in a circle. It
All
was
right.
almost as if I was going in a circle and things were not moving as much as they should. So I figured going back home and regrouping makes more sense. And that's what we did at that. Went back home and then came back to
And
Toronto.
how long did it take you that you had to stay in Nigeria before coming back to Canada?
About I was there for about a year or so. But the thing is that there was a situation that I wouldn't like to discuss in Nigeria that actually prompted me to move. It has to do with music. It has to do with just several things happened.
Okay. Did you at any stage undergo any tutelage under the late fella Nicola Pokuti because you
Mm.
eventually came up with the Afrobeat stuff?
No, actually, no, not at all. But as a Nigerian youth, we all love Fela Kuti. We all love Fela, and we all follow
It
his
was a
music.
great inspiration, right?
Absolutely. And you know how, as young people, we're rebellious and we all
Yeah.
want to be like Fela. Not, it's just that he was very inspiring. And some of us knew the truth of what he was always saying. And so that was our inspiration back then. So yeah, I was inspired by Fela more than anything.
Did you get any blast from your parents? Did they at the first instance support your move to play music at all?
So the thing is this, by the time I started playing music, I had left home. So, also realized that I left home very early. I left home when I was about 14 years old, actually, maybe a little less. From the moment I entered high school, I left home, whatever that age is. I left home. I actually went to New Busa to go to high school.
At that time,
Although,
you were fending for yourself.
no, my parents were still, we go to school because I was in the boarding house.
Okay. Okay.
Right. So like I would go and then come home and our holidays are literally just 1 month, 2 weeks
Yes.
sometimes, except for the
Yeah.
long. But from that age, I never went back home. So they weren't really, you know, um, but I knew for sure if I was living with them, Nigerian parents now, they want us
Yeah.
to be lawyers, engineers, and all
Exactly.
those things that used to be great stuff back then.
At that time, you were still trying to find your faith. What were those things that you probably came across that you wouldn't like to experience anymore?
Well, when you are by yourself as a young person, you experience a lot of, hiccups here and there, bad friends, good friends. But the thing with me is that I've always kept how do you say, uh, a level head, always. So and I think it has saved me a lot. When people are trying to move far, 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 far away from what I have learned from my parents, even though I left home a little early, but my dad and my mom instilled a whole lot of fear and, typically a whole lot of fear and a whole lot of level-headedness in me. So when I moved out and, was fending for myself, the moment I see that this is where this is headed, I shift back. I mean, I've made mistakes, a lot of mistakes,
Yeah.
but
Were you
not.
God fearing? Were you God fearing?
I would say, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
My dad was a policeman, so
Oh,
so the fear of God has been instilled in us from when we were young. So
yeah.
yeah, I think I've always been God fearing, and that has been a lot of guide for me. Yeah.
You know what I asked you the God-fearing aspect because this is relative to, majority of the Nigerian music stars, especially at the growing stage. How are you able to manage the women around you? Probably those that are fascinated by, oh, this is a young musician that is coming up and all that. How are you able to manage all of that?
Well, so everything for the most part is deliberate, like intentional,
Yeah.
like I said, I study, I watch people, and I've seen a lot of errors that people have made. And let me tell you that my biggest fear really in life is making a mistake that would alter my life.
Okay.
Because I understand that alteration can be permanent and it can remain with you for the rest of your
Yeah.
days. And you
I
have
would have
no,
done.
exactly, it does. So with the women, I mean, I've seen a lot of musicians go wrong with that. I've seen, so I know how it is. I've had
Yeah.
situations where after, also remember, I always take my wife to majority of the shows. Actually, almost all the shows she comes.
Yeah.
Situations where right after a show, you know, women will be like, if it's not because of your wife, I'm gonna take you. And the thing is that I don't get carried away by that. I
Yeah.
don't get carried away. So I've um I've lived a pretty much level-headed life. I mean, again,
From your
don't get me wrong. I have my errors. And I have,
Yeah, sure.
yeah.
During your childhood days that you were growing up, did you ever had it in mind that you were gonna end up playing music, or you had another profession in mind?
No, I've always loved music. I actually started back home with a group, my friend, my brother, and two of my friends. So it was four of us that actually started back.
Okay,
But I was the
okay,
only one that kept going. The rest of
okay.
them have dropped off, but I just kept going.
Out
I
of
don't
the
know.
four of you, out of the four of you,
Yeah, out of the four of us, I'm the only one that has
are you
I
still
got
in touch with them? Are you still in touch with them?
yeah, pretty much we talk. Yeah. We
Mm.
pretty much two of them we reconnected not long ago. But my brother is my elder brother, so we talk.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'm really the only one that the music thing beat. I
yeah.
going since then, you know.
When you eventually came back from Nigeria and went to Canada, how was it like settling down and now starting off with the Afrobeat Essemble bands? How was it like?
So I knew if I moved, because of my experience back in the state, I
Yeah.
knew needed time to get ready. So it took about a year for me to actually settle down, like really settle down. And the moment I settled down, as a matter of fact, before the year ran out, I started putting together the band. I started putting a couple of people. And as soon as I knew it was time, we started. I actually put the band together, like, I think about after 6 months that I moved here.
Really?
Yeah. And, people wonder how that could have happened because I know people who have been here for many years before I got here. And they are always like, we've been trying to put a band together and we've
Yeah.
not been able to do it. But I
And
don't know.
how was it like with your first musical show when you eventually took off
In New York or here?
in Canada? Yeah, in Canada.
My first show was at a club. I forgot what it's
Okay.
called. I think the club is defunct now. It was owned by I think the guys from Sudan or Tanzania, somewhere to Sudan, I think. But because you have to also remember, there's not a lot of Afrobeat bands in Canada. I think at that time there was only Femi Aborishi, Abosede.
Okay, Ogunkoya.
No, no, not Kola
No.
Ogunkoya.
Okay, yeah. No, yeah.
Femi Abosede, he has like
Okay,
a back then.
okay,
He's really the only he plays the saxophone.
okay.
He was the only one that I, at least that I know of that is kind of prominent here at that time. And then, I guess people have been, I don't know, I just put the ad out, spoke to a few people here and there, and that's how I got like a 12-man piece together, you know.
And would you be able to recall how much you made from that show?
Um, not so the way I do my band is this. So
Yeah,
let's say we make 1,000, 2,000, $3,000.
yeah.
Uh, and I think that's why people tend to follow me more because I always have someone who manage the band. And
Okay.
so everybody gets paid equally.
All right.
So
Right
if we,
at the show.
yeah, so we get paid equally, and I made that deliberately. It was intentional because I
Yeah,
understand people have families, they need money. I don't need more, I don't need money than they do.
yeah. Everybody
Uh,
needs money.
and if you need people to be dedicated to you, my band in the US and the one that is here, I have people who have been in the band since I've been here for about almost 12 years now. I have almost the same people
Really?
for at least I have 3 people that have been in my band since I moved here.
Oh, that's good.
And those who would not be there, it's either they moved or they found like something that kept them more busier than
Yeah,
yeah. Other than that, I've always had dedicated and focused people.
yeah.
Always.
Do you have a particular magic that stakes to people that comes for your show? Do you have a spectacular thing that they usually come for, to be at your show?
Well, I think the songs are because the way I always put it is this: they are politically motivated.
Yeah,
It will make you dance.
yeah.
You know,
Danceable.
I understand the theory is that basically when people come to see you, they come to enjoy themselves, they come to dance, you know. But while they are dancing, you push your words to them.
Yeah, into it. You pass across the message.
You do, yeah. There's never a dull moment. That's always been my motto. Never a
Yeah,
dull. If they come and if they are paying or even if it's a club,
yeah.
a live show, I understand the purpose of coming is so that they can have a good time, and
So
that's
you can make it worthwhile for them.
you have to. And I don't do too much on stage. I don't like do too much because I know the music speaks for itself.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Do you play any of the musical instruments? Because I'm
That
trying to get somewhere.
I know I play percussion,
Okay.
play the talking drum. I play, basically hand percussion is what I play.
Yeah. Because I've been able to listen to some of your music and I see a kind of fusion of horns, saxophones, bass, guitars, and drums, and putting together a band that will be able to have a component of all this, I know is going to be a real work. So how are you able to do all this that you have a fusion of all these musical instruments?
So, as an artist, as a songwriter, you have to have the idea up here first. And so now knowing how to play any musical instrument is interpretation of the idea. Well, I already have the idea in my head and it's a matter of putting it down. So the way it works is that I don't even really play the keyboard like that, but I have a studio at home. I always have a studio.
Yeah.
So I've already programmed the parts that I want people to play and then send it to. What they do is that they would make it more, they will bring it alive, basically.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what but I would have prearranged most of the songs.
Also.
I
Yeah.
never, so I don't think I've ever, I think one time that I tried it where I went to the rehearsal with no idea. I mean, with an idea that is not already laid down. It just took too long.
Mm.
So I always make sure The arrangements are there, and then everybody would interpret it how they hear it.
Everyone seems to be fascinated, with the kind of Afrobeat being popularized now in Nigeria. What's your perception of the likes of Davido, Burna Boy, Wizkid coming up with such their style of Afrobeat? What's your perception about all this?
No, I actually like what they do. They because the thing is that we have to realize that music is, it's not a one directional thing.
Yeah.
So I can tell you there are some songs that I wrote that it was from listening to Fela Kuti
Okay.
and taking um taking either just one part of the horn that I hear would
Mm,
inspire me to something else.
mm.
So that's evolving from Fela to what I'm doing. And so if somebody is able to take what we are doing, so what they basically did is that it was almost like a stripped down version of uh the typical Afrobeat.
Yeah.
And that's a genre on its own. You can't complain about that. You know.
Yeah.
Well, so what I have done personally is that I have kept let me put it this way, the Fela Kuti
Yeah.
ideology
Yeah.
at band, but
Okay.
I have also done the Afrobeat with the S. I have done several of those as well, but
Okay. Okay.
ever for the band.
Funny, Atiko, I'm going to say this that everyone knows about, the monopoly that has been enjoyed by American superstars with regards to popularity, prominence. And as we speak, American music stars try to engage into collaboration with Nigerian music stars as we speak. Now, are you part of this development?
Well, so I don't know if I would call it because when this movement started back in New York, I was in New York.
Okay.
So like I actually got an award in the first NEA, I think it's called Nigerian Entertainment Award in New York.
Okay.
I was
Yeah.
actually given the Afrobeat Award.
Okay.
So I knew about
Yeah.
but I was more into my Afrobeat.
All
The,
right.
yeah, I was more into that because let me put it this way: the people you hang with actually can influence you a whole lot.
Exactly. 100%.
At that point, I was hanging out more with people who are more into analog, people who are more into, let me put it this way, authentic, for lack of a better word,
Okay.
authentic African music. Those are the people that I was hanging with at that time.
Yeah.
So they kind of influenced me to to stay in that lane. But again, because of the kind of musical ideas that come to my head, I was still writing things that are not as harsh, not like things that are hard as our typical Afrobeat, like speaking direct to the government, speaking directly to the heels of the society. This kind of Afrobeat tend to strip that down a little bit, you know. So I was still writing that, but for the band, I was still doing the typical Afrobeat.
Yeah. Alphabet. Yeah.
So yeah, I was
Only as we go. Are
hanging
you
with.
are you in any way thinking of exploring the new wave of musical prominence in Nigeria, like having a presence in Nigeria, even though you're still based in Canada?
Well, so we're actually working on, like I said, I've always had hand in the Afrobeat with the S. I have songs. I have
Right.
songs that is that is stripped down. Again, I call it stripped down because you don't typically have like a 20 piece. I mean, you don't have 20 people on the stage. With that genre, you can only have two people and you're fine, or you
Yeah.
can split in your CD. But with the kind of Afrobeat we do, it will be hard to just slot in your CD and just go on stage and perform your thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I have songs that is, the stripped down Afrobeat. That's what I call it. Stripped down Afrobeat is what I call it.
Yeah.
I have songs like that. I have them in gospel. I have them in like regular. I'm actually working
Really?
on track that is supposed to be out in a few weeks.
Okay.
Where
That's gonna be like a single, right?
it's a single, yes.
Yeah. How do you feel about what technology is doing to the world now? Because I remember at a point in time when I was still a young journalist going to the studio with the likes of Ebenezer Obey, King Sonny Adimodo, whenever they want to record, either EMI studio, Decca, or whatever, those things are gone as we speak. The best you guys can do now is to release a single, which of course is very easy to popularize. How do you feel about what technology is doing to music worldwide? People no longer have to know how to play musical instruments, yet they can come out with all kinds of albums. How do you feel about this technology implication?
I think it's great actually. Because for me, it is if you can't beat them, you join them. Like,
Join
why
them.
not? I mean, why not? I'm
Yeah.
not the person who would say I'm just stuck in this kind of music. No, if
Mm,
it's to the left, all right, let's join. As long as we're not compromising our soul, you
yeah.
know, that's my bottom line. But if it's about, just moving, yeah, you should move. The good thing about the technology is that for a while, it took away power from the record labels.
Yeah.
But they have found a way now to take the power back. Like it's true, but the ones running the they're the ones canceling people. They're the ones literally they have
Yeah.
taken the technology from everybody.
In which way are they trying to grasp back the power?
They actually have it already
They-
because no, it's true because at the end of the day, the
yeah.
topmost record labels are the ones running this little say for example CD Baby, all those. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't want to play names, but those
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Yeah. We have been having a great conversation with Foley Asiko all the way from Canada. The Diaspora TV network has been able to fish out this great man doing great things in Toronto. And I want to bet you that a lot of viewers out there would definitely draw an inspiration from this great Nigerian ambassador in Canada. We have been talking about settling a musical mood for yourself, especially how record labels have been able to go out of the system. And you were talking about coming back into the fold now. So, what's the development like?
well, so like I said, the record label at one time, I guess that was the period where they were trying to go back and to the drawing board and figure things out.
Yeah,
Called, with Napster. I think it's called Napster. This was many years ago when they
right.
started, when MP3 became a thing, you know.
Yeah,
So there was that period where the record label seemed to lose the ground. And that's where people started, springing up with different labels. And Master P was like a great example where he
Yeah.
took the power from the record label. I remember him saying something about going to approach a record label and they're offering him a couple of some money. And he said, if I'm able to make this money on my own, why am I going to take it from you?
Exactly.
So when the MP3 era came and people started realizing that they can actually take the power for themselves and contact who directly, the record labels seem to lose some ground at that point. But now they have taken it over again because they're the ones who own most of the, what do you call it, the streaming platforms. They own most of.
Yeah.
So they still have that control over the record labels, except a few people who just refuse to, to succumb. And so the good thing about technology is that if you have the time to develop your section of people, then
Exactly.
you can utilize that opportunity. Someone who has millions of following,
Yeah.
would need to leverage on that and his people, his or her people, and they will be able to. So that aspect. Now, even then, the record labels could still have power over that because remember there's the council culture these days where it's about don't block this person from putting their thing on your platform. And that's all they had to
Yeah.
do. Tag somebody on Facebook or Instagram or wherever. And they still have control. To be honest with you, in my opinion, they still have control. They still have control
Okay.
because we rely on their platforms to inform people.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, Foley as a coach. Are that during that era that the record labels were 100% in control and the technology era that we are in now, which one do you feel that it's is a plus to the future of a music star? Which one is better for you?
I think the present is better.
Yeah.
Because the advantage to the presence is that you can have you can have control over
Yeah.
what you produce. And you can
Sure.
also get in touch with people from the grassroots. You can get in touch with your own people and have your own people. So yeah, I think what is happening now is great. However, with every good thing, the evil one tries
The other side as well.
tries to infiltrate and still use
Yeah.
so yeah, but
Mm.
what's going on now, it's gonna get better, especially with
Yeah.
the AI, with and I've seen people complain about all of that. But to me, we can only pick the what we are interested in, which is the good part. That's all we can
Exactly.
pick. Have no control over the other side. We don't, you know.
That's going to take me to this question that majority of essentially the Afrobeat music stars, perhaps I would generalize that to in Nigeria, they are used to this use of high-tech substances to hyper themselves, getting on stage and all of that. Are you in support or against that move? Even though some of them claim that well is out of their choice or being adults. What do you say to that?
Well, personally, I'm definitely against that. I
Mm.
so when I started back then, many years ago, we used to drink, and it wasn't like a big deal.
Yeah.
It was just what musicians did back then, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
But so when I started my band in New York, one day I just thought to myself on stage while I was performing, I just thought to myself, all these people are happy. All these people are, once you get up stage, people are like, wow, that was wonderful. That was great. That was
yeah,
amazing. Oh man. It was a spiritual journey for me. It was different things like that people will say. And so I thought, am I really the one doing this or the alcohol?
All of the,
Because
yeah.
the truth is this, while they're enjoying it, while they are experiencing this spiritual, what do you call it? This spirituality, I wasn't
Yeah.
enjoying it. I wasn't because I mean, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs, I never did.
You just feel that you are doing what you're not doing best.
Yeah. But to me, so I started thinking, I'm doing myself harm by drinking to perform. So I stopped drinking from then on. Plus, um, the church that I go to, they frown on drinking.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
it's one of the tenets of the church not to drink. So that together, and I again, it just didn't feel right performing and drinking. And since then, it's been over 20 something years now. I've never drank again.
Hmm.
No.
That's good. Where are you taking the Afrobeat Essemble? Where are you taking it to?
To be honest with you, there are some targets.
Yeah.
I grew up in Ilorin, I grew up in Osogbo. I
Yeah.
actually never grew up back home in my locality at all. But I grew up these places, and especially in Ilorin, there are like two places that if I'm able to perform there, it would be it would be amazing to me. Uh,
Yeah.
may not be a big deal to a lot of people, but it's just that while I was young, one day we were going to watch a Day Love movie.
Okay.
Taxi Driver, that was the movie back then.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
he the one sitting at the gate, and we got to the front of the door. We really would love to come in, but as young people, this was done at the stadium in Ilorin. What is it called again? There's a place in Ilorin that, like, around the stadium,
Okay.
that they
Okay.
play basketball tournaments there, and
All right.
that's where they showed the movie. So we got to the front,
Okay.
and this man, we stood there for about 2-3 minutes, and he looked up at my friend and I, and he said, "Kilenjeme, get out of here." This was Baba
Why
Adelo.
why did you do that?
We are children. To him, we are in the way.
Okay.
He's trying to sell.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's trying to sell
Uh,
his tickets, and we are standing there, and he's looking at us.
Oh,
So he's like, "Kilenjeme, hey, grow me by it." So I looked at him, and then we went away. And I was like, one day we're coming here, you know.
come here, you come and watch me again.
So that would be a great place to perform, actually.
Yeah, yeah,
I've
yeah.
done well, I've done a lot of great shows. Like, really, I feel fulfilled more. I was performing one day it was in New York. It was a group
Okay.
of old women and men. Most of
Yeah.
them, you could tell they're like more like Jewish, more like, you know,
All right.
just different group of people. And it just feels good after a performance for people to come and say, wow, I have
Yeah.
never felt like this in a long time. I have never
Exactly.
enjoyed like this in a long time. And these are people who
That gives you a whole lot of fulfillment.
that's what I'm saying. And these are people you would know they typically don't just dance. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
so they must have felt something. I try to
Yeah,
bring innocence. I try to bring innocence. I try to bring truth into my performance. I try not
yeah.
to fake, not to do what you will not catch me doing ordinarily. I try to do. I don't go out of my way, to do those things. No.
That's good. Peradventure, before I let you go, peradventure you come back to this world again, if it's something that is possible. Would you still love to return as a music star?
I would. I think if I did, I would do it better, actually. I would
Yeah,
I think a lot of things that I'm learning as I'm growing older, I would have learned them and be able to utilize those. So yeah, I would love to be a musician when I
yeah.
come.
Yeah.
Would love to.
On this note, I want to say that it's been a pleasure having you on this episode of the program, Diaspora TV Network. It's my great pleasure when I have people like this that are doing great things outside Nigeria and I'm able to fish them out. It's really wonderful having this conversation with you.
Same here.
Guys, if you enjoyed this episode, please give it a like, share, and comment, and subscribe to this channel for more amazing content. This is Folly Asiko for you all the way from Toronto in Canada. It's been nice having this conversation with you.
Same here. Thank you so much for having me. And I just want to add, just so you know, we just released an album a few months ago. It's called Release Yourself. And go check it out, people. It's in all streaming platforms.
All right.
All right. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
I will definitely pass that across. Thank you for your time.
All right. Have a great day.
Thank
Bye.
you so much. Yes.